body could not run a mile in under 4 minutes. Not just difficult. Not just unlikely. Impossible. Doctors said it. Scientists said it. Champions who had trained their entire lives, who had given everything they had to the track, believed it too. And here is what nobody talks about: they were right. For 9 years, they were absolutely right. Because not a single person on earth could do it. Until one man decided that maybe the problem wasn't his legs. Maybe the problem was the story he had been told. This video is not about running. Not really. It is about every wall you have ever stood in front of, arms crossed, breath shallow, telling yourself that this is where you stop. That this is the edge of what someone like you is capable of. You have felt that wall. Maybe it was a career you talked yourself out of before you even tried. Maybe it was a relationship you left before it began because you were convinced you weren't enough. Maybe it was a dream so big it embarrassed you to say it out loud. We all have a 4-minute mile. A number. A threshold. A line drawn in the sand by someone else, a teacher, a parent, a failed attempt, that we have been treating as permanent ever since. What Roger Bannister understood, what changed human history on a cold May evening in 1954, is something that will quietly rearrange the way you see your own limits forever. He's not a full-time athlete. He trains during lunch breaks between studying the human body, the very body that the world's top physicians insist cannot do what he is trying to do. And he knows the science. He reads the studies. He understands what every expert is saying. The human heart, they claim, will give out before the legs can carry a man across that finish line. The lungs cannot supply enough oxygen. The muscles will fail. The body will simply stop. And yet, every single morning, Bannister laces up his shoes and goes back to that track. Not because he ignores the data, but because he trusts something underneath the data. Something the scientists cannot measure. Something that has no name in a textbook. He calls it belief. But it is so much more than that. Think about the runners who came before him. Arne Anderson. Gunder Hag. The greatest milers of their generation, elite, powerful, obsessed. They came within seconds of 4 minutes. Fractions of a heartbeat away. And then, they stopped improving. Not because their bodies stopped. Because their minds accepted a ceiling. They ran right up to the edge of what they believed was possible, and they stopped there, precisely there, as if the universe had placed an invisible wall. That wall was not made of physiology. It was made of consensus. Of shared imagination. Of a story the entire world agreed to believe. Are not structural. They are inherited. Someone handed them to you through a statistic, through a failure, through a throwaway comment that landed so hard it built a home inside you. And because everyone around you seemed to accept the same ceiling, it started to feel like fact. Like gravity. Like something you would be foolish to argue with. Bannister understood something profound: the body follows the mind's permission. In the months before his record-breaking run, he did not simply train harder. He changed his internal architecture. He visualized the run in precise detail. He broke the mile into quarter-mile intervals, conditioning his body to move at a pace the world said was unsurvivable. He did not try to defeat the limit, he quietly made the limit irrelevant by never fully accepting it as real. And on May 6, 1954, on a windy afternoon at Oxford's Iffley Road track, with a handful of spectators and no fanfare, Roger Bannister crossed the finish line in 3 minutes and 59.4 seconds. The world held its breath. And then, everything changed. Here is the moment that should stop you cold. 46 days after Bannister broke the record, 46 days, an Australian runner named John Landy broke it again. And within 3 years, 16 more runners had crossed that same threshold. 16 runners. In 3 years. After 9 years of nobody. What changed? The human body did not evolve in 46 days. The lungs did not grow larger. The heart did not become stronger. The only thing that changed was the story. Bannister had rewritten it, publicly, undeniably, on a stopwatch, and now every runner on Earth knew that the wall was not a wall at all. It was a door. And someone had finally walked through it. Now is not a fact. What if it is simply a story that nobody in your life has been brave enough to disprove yet? What if you are not standing at the edge of your ability, but at the edge of your belief? You do not need the world's permission to begin. You do not need certainty. You do not need to have solved every doubt before you lace up your shoes and walk to the starting line. Bannister did not wait for the experts to change their minds. He did not ask the doctors to revise their studies. He simply decided, quietly, stubbornly, beautifully, that he would rather be wrong in motion than right while standing still. And that choice, that single internal shift, did not just break a record. It broke the record for everyone who came after him. Because that is what happens when one person refuses to accept an inherited limit. They don't just free themselves. They rewrite what is possible for the people watching. For the ones who needed to see it done before they could believe it themselves. So whatever your 4-minute mile is, whatever number, whatever dream, whatever version of yourself you have been told is too much or too far or too late, run anyway. Because the limit was never real. The only thing that was ever real was you.